If you struggle to get people to buy your content offer, it's not because you have a bad offer. It's because you don't know how to explain it, so they have to say yes. Listen, you're probably working with one or a couple of clients, you're thinking about raising your prices, building your own brand, but every time you try pitching your offer, you get hit with, just tell me the price, I don't have time for this, maybe I'll get back to you in 6 months. And this is the reason 90% of content agencies fail. And if you don't know how to explain your offer, you're gonna get replaced either by AI or someone who does. My name is Nemanja, and I went from chasing $500 to $1,000 clients to charging $6,000 up to $8,000 per client, building 2 agencies to 6 figures, building my personal brand to over 50,000 followers, and I managed to do all of this while still living life and doing lots of side quests. So in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly what you need to say to make your offer sound different and better, how to never present your offer, and give you some good examples of how good content offers sound like. All right, so recently I had one of my clients who runs a content agency ask me, hey, so I'm having a hard time getting people on sales calls, and even if they do come, I can't close them. So I reviewed his DM conversations with prospects, his sales calls as well, and I noticed one pattern. And that was the main thing that was stopping him from getting people even interested in his offer, let alone selling them on that offer when they come on a call. And it was this. He was presenting his offer like this: $3,000 for 30 videos per month. And let me ask you this, what's the problem with this? How many people do you know who are selling this exactly the same thing for 1K, 2K, 3K? Countless. So every time a prospect asks in the DM, so what do you do? Like, what's your offer? He would say this: we do ideation, scripting, editing, post-production, you only need to record for 1 hour per day, etc., etc. And if they ask how much is it, he would just say, it's $3,000 for 30 views per month, and that's what we do. And let me show you what's the biggest problem with all of this. It's this. We do. We do is the last thing you want to say to a potential client. Now you might be thinking, yeah, but I gotta tell him what I do. How am I gonna get him to buy my service otherwise? Clients don't care about what you do. They only care about what they get. And let me explain. Let me give you an example. So we all know 3 big niches: health, wealth, and relationships. I'm gonna use health and relationships to explain this thing because it's gonna be much easier to understand, but the same principle applies and should be applied in the wealth niche. Just a few seconds, I got something special for you. I'm running a 6-week challenge where I'm gonna show you how to implement all these systems that I'm talking about in this video and get at least 1 new client in the period of 6 weeks. If you wanna join the challenge, DM me the word ready on Instagram, you have it down in the description. I'll reach out to you with all the details on how to join. Let's get back to finishing the video. So let's give you an example for this. So we got health niche and / relationships. But exactly the same principle applies. So let's first, for example, use relationships. That's the first example. So think about deliverables in this niche. What would be the real deliverables be? Let's think about an offer that would be a person helping other people lower down their divorce rate, so not getting divorced, you know? So think about the deliverables. What could deliverables be? It'd probably be number of sessions or number of hours spent with them, or number of, I don't know, hours for video material or video courses or something like that. Something like that. What would be the outcome on the other hand? The outcome would be, don't divorce your wife. And think about what's the thing that people are more interested in. This, like the deliverables, number of sessions you're gonna get from me, number of hours you're gonna spend with me, number of times I'm gonna help you and you're gonna talk to me, or I'm gonna help you not divorce your wife. What do you think people are interested in more? Probably this and not this. And it's exactly the same in the health niche, for example. So let's say, like, what's a normal, usual, like, health niche offer? Probably like losing weight. So let's say you got someone that helps women lose weight, lose 20 kilos or weight or something like that. So what are the deliverables? we're gonna help you with workouts, and we're gonna help you with meals, and there's this split that you can do, and we're gonna help you with accountability to make sure that you actually do all these things, and we're gonna help you with all these things, and you're gonna come this many times in the gym and use this split in your week, and blah, 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 blah. Do people care? No. What do you think they care more about? Probably losing 20 kilos of weight. That's what people really care about. That's what the women would really care about. So, would they care more about the deliverables? So, I'm gonna help you with workout, with meals, with accountability, with everything, or I'm gonna help you lose 20 kilos of weight. What's the thing they value more? Probably losing 20 kilos of weight. They don't even care about the workouts. What are like, I'm gonna be counting calories and doing all this bullshit. They don't even care about that. The only thing that they care about is, can you help me achieve this or no? And I don't care about how do you gonna get me there? Now, if it was in my case, I would probably care about this because I'm already into fitness, I'm kind of strong, so I'm working out, so I know these things. I would be more interested in specifically how the program would look like. I can't go to the gym, I'm not a girl, so something like that, but that's me. But for this offer, like helping women lose 20 kilos of weight, they don't care about the workouts, about the meals, about the accountability. The only thing they care about is losing weight. So the same thing applies here. People don't care about the 30 videos or 30 ideas or 30 scripts or 30 edits or anything that you will do. The only thing that they care about is what they will get. What are the problems that you will solve for them? So let's create a different scenario and what I suggested my client do in order to solve this and what happened there. So let me erase this as I'm talking. All right, so let's write down a different scenario where the offer would be focused on paying this to getting the outcomes, not getting the deliverables. So it's the same price, $3,000, but instead of getting videos, scripts, edits, ideas, thumbnails, titles, whatever it is, how about getting something different? So let me write something down. All right, so check this out. What if instead of saying this, he said this? What do you think would happen? Well, I can tell you what actually happened. So he immediately fixed this, and he immediately, instead of saying this, started saying that, and about the next day, he booked 4 sales calls in a day and closed $2,000 per month client. Just because of this tiny fix. So it all comes down to understanding the difference between deliverables and outcomes. This is what you will do, and this is what they will get. And people care about the things that they will get. Not all the things that you can list out for an entire day that you will do in order to help them get the things that they want to get. And now most of you offering content services are doing exactly the opposite. And I know because I was in the same spot. I used to run an offer and I used to book 5 sales calls per day and not close anyone. I always thought it was like I needed more leads, or I needed to warm up leads better, or the leads weren't nurtured enough, or they just didn't want to buy because they were bad leads. And I thought about all the reasons and thought these were all the reasons why I didn't close anybody. But it was just because I didn't know how to explain my offer well enough so that they need to say yes. Because it's perfectly personalized to what they want to get. And once I realized this, and I stopped doing this, I stopped talking about my deliverables and started talking about the outcomes, specific outcomes that are tailored to my prospects that I will help them achieve, I immediately closed the $6,000 deal and many more moving forward. Now, where and how do you use this rule? First up is your content. I've been building my personal brand actively for the last 3 years. And while focusing on explaining outcomes and benefits my clients would get instead of copying other people or talking some bullshit, guess what that brought to me? I never get hit with those random objections from clients because of my brand. They trust me and they know I have credibility and authority because they've consumed my content and they're already sold on the outcomes they will get from working with me. So in your content, don't talk about the deliverables and how important they are and how good you are at doing them and delivering them. But talk about the outcomes your ideal client would want to achieve and then how to achieve them. So what are all the problems that they need to solve in order to get there? What are all the options they have in order to get there? And how to get there? And what is going to be like once they get there? Now, in order to be able to know these outcomes, you first need to know your ideal client profile. You need to know who is that in order to be able to know what are the outcomes that they want. So what are their characteristics, what do they offer, what are their problems, and what are the outcomes they want to achieve. I got a completely separate video explaining how to find your ICP. You can find it somewhere around here and watch it as soon as you finish this video. Now the second place is your DM conversations. So while doing outreach and when having DM conversations with your clients. Now if you're just implementing this rule here and you're not implementing it in your content as well, it's kind of like riding a bicycle instead of driving a car. You're not walking, but it's not even close. So how do you implement this in your DMs? This is the place where you're aiming to get people to book a call with you and then later get on a call with you. Now the mistake that most of the people make is as soon as they get a positive reply from their outreach message, which is usually like, what's your offer? Tell me more about what you do. They start talking about what? About the deliverables. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And then prospects ghost them because they don't care about what you will do. They only care about what they will get, what are the outcomes that you're gonna help them achieve. What me and my clients do instead is we never talk about the deliverables. No one cares about that. We simply list a few outcomes that are completely personalized to the prospect and explain to them what problems would be solved once they have them. So if you caught what I said outcomes that are personalized to the prospect. Yes, you overall know your ICP and you know what are the outcomes they generally want to get. But these outcomes and the problems that they have and they need to overcome in order to achieve these outcomes are completely personalized from person to person. Meaning, I got a saying that I like to use is there's no two different persons that should get the same reply on the message covering the same outcomes and the same problems. So every single message you send throughout your outreach should be completely personalized to them. Now, this rule applies exactly the same to your conversation like it will apply to the beginning of the conversation, which is your outreach message. So when I say DMs, I mean both. I mean the opening of the conversation, your first opening outreach message, and then in the conversation, once they reply positively, ask about your offer and what you will do for them. So how do you apply this inside of your outreach message? Well, most of people, and I get tens of messages every single day that are like this. Hey, I'm a video editor. I can edit videos. I can edit 3 videos per day for you. Let me know if you're interested. And I'm like, what the? I only care about what that thing can get me. So what can I get from that? And if you think about, if you're opening the message in that way, you're just talking about me. So I can do, we can do, I will do this, I will do that. And the focus is on you. The focus is on me. Instead of focus being on you, here's what you will get. Here's what you will achieve. Here's what you will solve. The focus should never be on you. The focus should always be on the prospect and the person that you're talking to. That's what you focus on in your content, in your outreach message, in your conversation, in anything that you ever do. You focus on what they want, not what you want. And the third place to implement this rule is obviously your sales calls. Now the thing is, if you're not good and if you're not implementing this thing in these 2 things, you're probably not even going to get sales calls. But once you do, it's really important that you implement this and in your pitch, you personalize your pitch to their outcomes. Majority of people pitch like this. Here are the 3 things that we will do for you. We will do this, we will do that, we will do that, and you should do exactly the opposite. You should talk about the outcomes that you will get them and only mention what are the things that you will do in order to get them to those outcomes. Now, you might be asking, well, how do I know exactly what are the personalized outcomes that they want so that I can say them in my pitch? Well, that's what the discovery of the call is for. Now, I don't want to get too deep into sales here, but how every single sales meeting goes is you have an intro or report, then you have the discovery, transition to the pitch, and then pitch. And discovery is the longest and most important part of the call. And in the discovery, in this part, you will figure out what are these outcomes so that later you can use them in your pitch, where you're going to be talking about what? About outcomes that are personalized to them. You wouldn't believe how many people I see make these mistakes and constantly talk about the deliverables and what they will do. And no one cares about what they will do. People are selfish. Think about it. No one's gonna wake up and really care about what you can do for them. They don't care. They got their own problems. They got their own concerns. They got their own goals. They don't care what you can do. They want to solve these things, those problems, and achieve their goals. So that's how you implement this rule into all three parts of your business. Now, by the way, if you've come this far, I've got something special for you. I'm running a free 6-week challenge where I'm gonna help you over the course of 6 weeks implement all the things that I talked about and all the strategies that I talked about in this video and help you to use them to get at least one new content agency client in that period of 6 weeks. To apply for the challenge, send me the word ready on Instagram and I will reach out to you personally and explain in detail how to join and how everything works. If it's God's will, I'll see you in the next one.